According to figures on the state of food security and nutrition in the world in 2023 by the Food and Agriculture Organization, about 783 million people faced chronic hunger in 2022. World Food Programme Annual Review 2022 indicates that 333 million people are facing severe levels of food insecurity. Globally, new figures on prevalence of undernutrition show that more than 3.1 billion people are unable to afford food with adequate nutrition, with one person dying every minute, especially in the West African region. The picture in Nigeria is not different, as the Nigerian government has admitted that 26.5 million people will grapple with the high levels of food insecurity in 2024. The global scale of food crisis, undernutrition, poverty, and possible deaths resulting from starvation, malnourishment, and consequent weight loss has become worrisome, thereby placing grave responsibility on leadership to think differently and engage innovative ways of dealing with the persistent worrying forms of food production, distribution, and consumption.
I don't believe that it is time to begin to throw blames. I don't operate that way as a person. All of us have to look for ways to bring solution to what is on ground, rather than begin to throw blames. This person is not doing this person is not doing this. We are leaders in our own right. Leadership is about finding solution to issues. We are where we are, and there's no doubt about it. And the point for me is, what can we do to get out of here?
The Ibom State Governor, Pastor Umo Eno, is driving an innovative agricultural revolution that aims to ensure food security for all citizens. He understands that given the rising cost of food and the dwindling purchasing power of individuals, many are being pushed to the brink of starvation. Also, Governor Umo Eno firmly believes that a society that cannot feed itself cannot achieve sustainable development, and this serves as a bedrock for his agricultural revolution agenda, which is committed to ensuring the well-being of people in all aspects of life, including food security.
As a state, the governor has realized that food security, food sufficiency is primary. And you know that it is the first in the existential sequence of needs. You first look for food. It is after you've eaten that you talk about clothes, you talk about housing, you talk about the rest of the other things. So when people are unable to eat, a hungry people would definitely be an angry people. So the governor, Pastor Umo Eno, doesn't just see agriculture as provision of food. He also sees it from the security perspective. Because where there is lack of food, you're going to have a populace that is unruly. Even in our local language, we say that the hungry man doesn't listen to the gospel.
The agriculture pillar of the Arise agenda depends on an integrated approach that promotes not just individual farmers, but also community farming and agro-allied businesses to enhance food availability and support the economic growth of the state. Through the AK Cares initiative, supported by the World Bank, over 900 farmers across the state are receiving quality input for crop and livestock farming.
The state government has given counterpart funding to support the AK Cares program, which is Akwa Ibom COVID-19 Action Response Economic Stimulus, which is the support of the state government in partnership with the World Bank to see that farmers who are affected by COVID-19 are supported to see that the agricultural enterprises pick up from where they left off after the negative effect of COVID. But now the name has been modified to Community Action Economic Response Stimulus, saying that they're supporting farmers in communities. And the emphasis in this batch of input support is livestock farmers, where goat farmers, pig farmers, poultry farmers are being supported with input to see that they carry out agricultural production. You could see joy in their hearts expressed on their faces.
2 years ago, my team take a quarter memory. Every nam survey, the government in no, because You don't have my opportunity. Farmers in this village during COVID-19, people had no access to Odiaunen. People had no access to even he got a serious problem. So get a good news that 2022 when people came in a immediate palliative for the farmers.
Don't come government na any ma the kidum ponto tepe mo kere sekpedara e mane nam no weme amana tongo mfremi en no ebut ita umaniba ayara ke mbo ya ba se yon government nyene mio ana mana ofre we e kru fon mio
kini nyini kiba ko nana kini COVID-19 then aba se so sin government ni market amma iti yonin te yang ni mani plan ni wang yin keme ke sem kon ni ma atak e bon ni ma atak onene tak den abase ma na sinem mo ko ni mani ni e bot ini eri ku sen fne mo ya abase ri on mo ke nyo bon yin bi jo
ino nyin mem gbade dia mi mebo e buri ta agbuget ndo mani ba amem promise ando FAMA nya na me bro wak adot mam fon yemi.
So far, so good. Akwa Ibom State, we implemented, as of last year, we successfully implemented AKKs, whereby lives were touched in Akwa Ibom State. AKKs as well has taken care of, has looked at the direction of the agriculture through Minister of Agriculture. There's an agency of government called FAMA that is under Minister of Agriculture. Minister of Agriculture apparently has the highest number of the DLIs. That's DLI 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, and even 2.4. And these are targeted at different result areas, you know, like the DLI 2.1, provision of agricultural inputs, you know, where if you notice across Akwa Ibom State, we've been embarking on visitation of local governments to meet with the farmers' community associations where day old chicks with feeds are given to them, and nannies are given to them, piglets, fingerlings with feeds are given to people, this group of farmers.
To further accelerate the agricultural revolution, the state government has established the Ibom Model Farm in partnership with Songhai Farms of Port Novo, Benin Republic. This 50-hectare farm at Ikoredibon, Nsurubium local government area, will be an exemplar of sustainable agricultural value chain development to be replicated in other local government areas of the state.
We need to take farming, look at it intentionally, and then coordinate it properly to give us results. So I'd like to say that today is one day that I feel fulfilled, because I dreamt of this kind of farm in our state where we can have a coordinated approach to farming so we can have results. People believe that you don't make money from farming. I disagree. Major nations around the world make a lot of money from farming, and so we were intentional about it.
I grew up in an integrated farm environment. I understood what could happen, not just with the opportunity, but with the future for the people of Nsurubium and Akwa Ibom State. Understood the transformation that would come with the location and siting and the execution of the project of this kind of magnitude, and I understood the need for us to follow up quickly. It's going to transform the landscape of Nsurubium as a local government area. It's driving traffic there because people, if we talk about Songhai, we're in Port Novo, trucks move from there with produce to the markets. So there's going to be a hub there where produce is purchased, you know, and all kinds of things will happen. Then commercial activities that are related to what is happening will also start springing up. there will be means and opportunities for employment for thousands of people at different levels, because there is a very viable industry.
With expertise to be drawn from Songhai farms, the Ibom model farm is set to revolutionize farming practices and ensure a steady food supply for the people.
We're working in partnership with the Songhai farms from Benin Republic to set up an integrated farming system in Akwa Ibom State. But in Akwa Ibom, we call it Ibom model farm. Why is it a model farm? A model is something that others look to copy. An integrated farm is a farm where you carry out different agricultural practices on the same piece of land, parcellated to carry out different activities on the same. When I say mean same piece of land, for example, you have 20 hectares. Instead of just doing crop, you can do crop, livestock on different parcels of the land. Why? To be able to efficiently utilize that portion of land that you have access to. And why are we talking about partnership with the Songhai farms in Port Novo? When you see something that someone is doing and it's good, and you want to emulate it, copy it, you look at it and see how to adapt it to your environment to make it better.
So the Songhai model we are going to be operating here is a nuanced model. We are not just doing copy and paste. No, we are doing copy, edit, remake, and paste. So at the end, when you see what a Songhai farm would look like, yes, you realize that is the Songhai model that is the underpinning, but you are going to find Akwa Ibom characteristics because we have people who are thinking.
This is more than a farm. It should be a tourism hub. And so we have introduced into the project model things that would drive hospitality industry. It's a farm that you have facilities for conferences, events. It's a farm that people can go during holidays and be in touch with nature while you see the trees growing, see the fruits. But you also have a hotel, a 5-star hotel where you can lodge. It's more than a farm.
Ibom Model Farm is engineered to be administered privately, totally immune from political and parochial sentiment that often besiege government-owned and administered enterprises.
This farm is going to be managed like we are running Ibom Air. There will be no government interference in any way. We will run it professionally. Agriculture will manage it. The Ministry of Agriculture will supervise it. We will not let people just interfere and throw in things. We want it to work. Gome is a model for us to see that when you allow professionals run the business and less of government and political interference, you will see results.
We've set up a business plan for it. That's what's different. We've seen where others failed and said, no, we won't toe that path. We'll toe this path and see that we make it work.
We'll run the farm as a business. It's not going to be run as a department of government. It's a limited liability company. It will have its own board. Accountabilities and responsibilities will be clearly defined. And you make money or you get kicked out. So it's not a farm that is a project. It's a farm that has a living nature. In other words, it's a farm that is driven by an SPV, that is a limited liability company, run with proper governance in place and run with due process.
It is heartwarming to note that the agricultural efforts of the current administration are consolidating on the greenhouse policy of the previous administration on growing tomatoes and bell peppers on a large scale. The greenhouse demonstrates the capacity for local production and supply, thereby reducing the reliance on the importation of vegetables and also checking capital flights.
What informed the decision to have a greenhouse, that was in the past administration, was that these crops many times are crops that we normally get from the northern part of Nigeria because their weather and climatic conditions permit them to be grown in large quantities. That means there are areas of comparative advantage where these crops were grown. But you see, in Akwa Ibom, tomatoes is not a crop that is naturally grown here. Grown here in the sense that we do not have comparative advantage in growing this crop. So when a crop is grown in a greenhouse environment, you are providing for it conditions that would make it grow properly. Suppose those conditions are not present in that location. So setting this up was seeing how we could grow these vegetables in Akwa Ibom to be able to reduce the challenges that we have in getting them all the way from the north. And when the past administration started, we saw that it worked. So since then, we now proudly grow vegetables like tomatoes, pepper, cucumbers, red and yellow bell peppers.
We have Belfast, and we also have the beef variety. That beef variety is the one that we call table tomato, that you can just put on your table and you eat while eating your breakfast, your afternoon food, or your dinner. So we have them, those varieties, because they are very nutritious. So we plant the kind of tomato that will readily be accepted by all quarters, all kinds of people.
Furthermore, the state government has established an equipment leasing yard to support large-scale farmers with planters, harvesters, and land preparation equipment. This way, farming is made easier and more efficient, thus attracting the younger population.
So these things are done to reduce the labor in agriculture, because that's what hasn't attracted many young people to it. They think the work is too much. You labor so much in it, and the labor component is high. So once machines are there to help you in this agricultural production, it makes it so easy. So as many as will require mechanical support, we will give them mechanical support, and we'll encourage them to do so much more so that they can benefit from using those machines. So that's where we are on using machinery.
Now, the governor just recently also mentioned that there are going to be equipment leasing. So farmers will now understand how to do larger scale farming. They'll be having the opportunity to understand what are the best
for middlemen to determine prices of food at their whims. Governor Umo Eno's approach to solving this problem is through the counterpart funding of the Rural Access Agriculture and Market Project, RAMP.
Acronym for RAMP is Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Projects. It's a project that is funded by the World Bank, French Development Agency, and with support from Akwa Ibom State government. So government of Akwa Ibom State is giving support, counterpart fund support to the World Bank and French Development Agency, who are co-funders of the project. The primary objective is to improve access routes and then provide produce that are developed at the stage of sustainable supply to the citizens of Akwa Ibom State, to ensure that there is food sufficiency and everything around agriculture, around development starts and finishes within the concept note of rural access and agricultural marketing project.
The World Bank project, Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, RAMP, is fixing roads. That's in the rural areas. So that also goes for rural development. What we are looking at doing is to support young people in rural areas in soft skill acquisition. That's what we're working on currently.
While some political leaders at the federal and state levels of government in Nigeria are busy trading blame, Governor Umo Eno has initiated a strategic intervention program, the Bulk Food Purchase Urgency.
To bring a bulk purchase agency and to introduce that formula is a part of the state's intervention in controlling the market. Truth is, as much as government is trying to make food prices affordable, there are people who have been beneficiaries of the high cost of these food prices. So that puts us into a structural and functional conflict between government and the market forces. And these market forces, you know, when you lift the veil, you're going to find very powerful, not too powerful, and even powerless people within the structure. So you're going to find market unions and the rest. But so government is saying to them, we're not fighting you. Can we collaborate? At the end of the day, whether you're a market union leader or not, if an insurrection happens, the money you're looking for and you're making won't make any sense.
In order to walk his talk, Governor Umo Eno assented to the Bulk Purchase Urgency Bill on March 14, 2024, inaugurated the Bulk Purchase Urgency Board that is saddled with the responsibility of administering the Arise Food Security Program on 22nd March 2024. And on the 26th of March 2024, the Arise Food Security Program was flagged off at Itam Market, where Pastor Umo Eno and some government officials presented food vouchers to vulnerable persons.
Today, this beautiful sunny day, we have come to launch Akwa Ibom New Deal, an intervention approach aimed at mitigating and bringing down the high cost of our staple food items, starting with gari, rice, and beans, that today appears to be beyond the reach of our most vulnerable. We will give food vouchers, as we will do today, to people whose names are in the social register, and then they will go to any market and redeem the voucher. And then the agents and the redemption centers will collect the vouchers, take it to the bulk purchase agency. They have a code, and then they will be paid their money within 72 hours.
We want to make sure that we subsidize and help the poor to be able to buy all these food items. So it's the governor that has this initiative, and it's a wonderful initiative. And we want everybody to support this initiative and make sure that it works. I know that people will say that it's not going to work, but I can assure you this program is going to work because the governor is very, very ready for it in order to ensure that the poorest people in the village receive this food, because you can do it and at the time the people will just use it anyhow. But our own is to monitor it, evaluate it, and recommend to the governor how it works and whether we should continue or not to continue.
For me, you make a farm content of Baka Quaibum. Boss on a tete. Nancy Nagido, imposing a kisson. So, government, Erika Keremboke, Akbana Moidam no, Nkanga workers and Nanguerino Emo, and wearing work, Ediam Bo. I don't come out of Pembon and then he come about it. Carry them bomb. Akbaka Bukay Akbako, American Caban, then look back as I said, it am yet free. Free on a fund, but in the emperor, make a change, make who calculate percentage, calculator. You know, Fred will be carrying them. It I will my baby me, say welcome borrow, but free young. Get the work when you would if you order. I don't have a little word or song. Then make come about no governor, pastor more Basia, no.
Don't rank a Kopoko program, I mean. Esrem and them. I am Finemi. Remember, young one in this, and I said in them, I mean, can one of the beneficiaries. I'm going to say young governor. I said young governor Quaibo. I said young pastor Umo Eno. I said young Yamukaramo Kama.
Esren the minute, see how Ten Kangawo, ik be married no in Arame. Bendo do down now, I say to our race and nodding see you mean, Ketum Mewu, our wedding young, no mean Ken in the one and could yam for Ken Tara Muyarabasi. I say again, I'm born, we say again, Darrow, I don't governor and you for a more, young Jesus Christ, amen.
In a Mr. near that, Kenya, I don't word young Gabasi. I want to wait no. I want to woman. I can get and bomb in Venice, and me a young Idara. Moya Basia young. I want young bureau. I can't go executive. I'm a king of Jesus. Amen.
However, since the food intervention exercise is not a permanent solution to food insecurity, the state government has rolled out the Back to Farm for Food Security program, where improved farm inputs will be given to all farmers in the state.
The most important thing we can do as a people is to go back to farming. And we will set up an agreed committee for the state that will provide ways of helping our people, supporting our people, the siblings, and whatever they need, so that we can return back to the farm. Akwa Ibom is blessed with good land, greenery all over the year, and we believe we should get our people back to the farm. the Agri Committee will come out with modalities so that in some couple of months we can bring down drastically the prices of our staple food.
I think that the Pastor Umo Eno administration will go down in history as an administration that was very passionate, that is very passionate, and that will continue to be very passionate about
of development where agriculture is the catalyst.